Hi. So as you saw, it was a bit of an upset there. We're up in London. It's Stephen Sondheim's birthday yesterday, so we're treating ourselves to Company, the new version, this afternoon at the Gielgud Theatre, and this evening Follies. But we've quite badly judged it, well, by accident really, and we are in the midst of a Brexit march. Thankfully with the Remainers, so that's obviously where I sit, and we've had to abandon the car right over by Victoria and had to walk the rest of the way. So we're panicking a bit because we've got like 45 minutes to curtain, but we'll be alright. And in the meantime, been quite handy to sort of lend a little bit of support in the march. So I'll tell you more about when we get closer, if we get closer. Just kind of figuring out, we need to get over here. We've taken a step off the mall and thinking we'd be quieter, but we're now in this, properly in the march ourselves. So we're about 30 minutes to curtain up now. And figuring out how we're going to cut through. We're going to cut through as much as we can.
Don't you want to make your political statement? No, sorry.
So we're trying to bit by bit cut through. So we're here, we made it with just about 15 minutes to spare, so we haven't had any lunch. And we've just got a big queue for tickets. I think lots of us were running late. But yeah, we're here now, so I'm going to turn my camera off, and we're knackered, we're tired, we've had to rush experiencing the march, so I'll report back about this show after, and also talk to you later about the National Theatre's Follies, and I'm hoping our journey wasn't as worrying as that one was. So I've done nothing but walk around today. So I've just finished show one, which, as I said to you earlier, was Sondheim's Company, which is in its final weeks. I'll give you a full report later, but the show is still as extraordinary as ever. Now, theatre goers amongst you will know I'm doing the famous pilgrimage now across Waterloo Bridge to the National, where they are reviving last year's production of Follies. So as I said, it's a double Sondheim day for us. There are some few changes to the production, namely in cast, but also last time I went I didn't have very good seats about a year or so ago, so we're looking forward to seeing it again. We'll come back to you, as always, with a full report at the end of the show. I probably want to get home because I've had a day of being caught in Brexit marches and lots of walking around, and I might be tired. But so this afternoon, Stephen Sondheim's Follies. This evening, Stephen Sondheim's. This afternoon Company. This evening, Follies. I'm going a bit crazy listening. So yeah, we will. I've lost my mum and my brother. Here they come. But yeah, we'll be back. I'll be back later to tell you more about our double Sondheim day. Strangely, my brother said how much he enjoyed Company, which was a surprise to me. Not quite sure what he's going to think about Follies, but we'll see. And we'll track back to you very shortly with a full report of both shows in a nutshell. Cheers. We've just got back. It's very late. What a day. So we were, as you see, we've been to two shows today. We've been to Company in the West End, which is the obviously revival, which has been playing to great acclaim and packed houses since about September, October last year. Actually my third visit, and you know, what a groundbreaking production, really. I mean, I know it's only actually on for another few days. If you see this vlog today, I think it finishes on Saturday, on the 30th. And so if you do get a chance to go, you go. So you probably know by now they've actually swapped the role of Bobby, and the show has a vital energy and a relevance which probably never existed. I always found it very hard to like the main character Bobby, and with the creation of Rosalie Craig's female character of that now, it brings a new likability and lovableness to the role. I think if lovableness is a word. But Marion Elliott is a genius, absolutely beautifully cast. The gender swapping works perfectly. Can't talk about the production without talking about Patti LuPone's fantastic, visceral, urgent Joanne. The woman is obviously a Broadway star for a reason, and so great to be seeing her over here in the West End. And also, let's talk about some of the other performances. Mel Gilroyd is a surprise in the show, absolutely fantastic. Not that I wouldn't think she'd be good, but she's kept up. And actually, I haven't seen the show in the first couple of weeks, and now the last couple of weeks, she has brought a comedy and an energy to that role, which really, really bubbles, which is great. Also loved Richard Fleischman's interpretation of Andy, which of course used to be the blonde air stewardess. It is now a dumb air steward, and obviously makes the most out of what he has to do, and does appear in a pair of blue pants as well, which is always a bonus. Also have to give props to Jonathan Bailey. So Jonathan Bailey will probably win an Olivier Award for his portrayal of Jamie, obviously, which used to be Amy, so he gets the Getting Married Today number. Absolutely super. Stop the show. Energetic, comical, quite sad, but super performance there by him as well. The production is wonderful. Super band, which are on stage throughout. Designed by Bunny Christie, beautiful. All as in Bobby being entrenched in these kind of moving boxes, which are kind of like the moving, symbolising the moving kind of part of her life as she reaches 35 and is still, God forbid, single. So that's Company. That's on until the end of this week in the West End. Talk if you're going to Broadway. I'm not sure about the casting, if that's going to go with it, but if you get a chance to go and see it here, please do. Now, in the evening, as you saw, we crossed the bridge over to the National Theatre. The National Theatre, for me, is the holy grail of our local theatre scene, and they've revived Stephen Sondheim's Follies. So just to sort of give the theme of the video, you probably saw, we saw 2 Sondheim shows. It was his 89th birthday last week. And he's a writer that I've loved for many years. I always said years ago, back when I was sort of looking at musical theatre and studying, I suppose, I always felt his stuff was overlooked, and only now is it really coming into its own. Now, I think it shows that he's probably way ahead of his time. I know he wrote lyrics for things like West Side Story. He wrote lyrics for Gypsy. But some of his shows like Assassins, Company, particularly Merrily We Roll Along, I think they never got the plaudits until recently than it's recently got. So I'm so sort of pleased that he's now having his day, and people are going to see those shows and are applauding them so greatly. In the evening, so we went to Follies. So Follies has been revived from last year. So last year they did it at the National Theatre. Dominic Cook's fantastic, epic, beautiful production, restored to its usual 2 hours 15 minutes straight through, which does sound a bit of a mean feat, but it is absolutely sublime and beautiful. All set in the Olivier at the crumbling Weissman Theatre, and as the evening of the revival of the party goes around, which is what the story's about, we see the original Folly girls reassemble for one last hurrah, I suppose. So what's different? Namely, a few people, playing Sally is Joanna Riding. Now, I don't have enough good things to say about Joanna Riding and her performance. That's not to say Imelda Staunton, who did it previously, wasn't good, but this is a whole new level. Joanna Riding's voice is an absolute triumph throughout, and her performance, she starts the show. Anyone knows the story. It's basically a reunion of people that all met and worked as Follies girls years ago, and this is their one last evening in the theatre before it gets turned into a car park. And she approaches the piece with such positivity, like a wide-eyed girl, and it's only as the building crumbles and the evening crumbles into chaos, so we see her character do the same. And losing my mind was probably the most, I would use the word frightening 4 minutes as she kind of just crumbled in front of our eyes, all with that fantastic voice which we know and love her for. Also matched as Phyllis by the wonderful Janie Dee, who brings an energy and a vitality to the role. Even though she's sarcastic and biting and bitter and spiteful, she has heart, warmth, honesty as well, and that's a mean feat to do that. Also, to be still sort of chewing the scenery with that kind of dancing is absolutely sensational. So he loves Janie D. For me, Alexander Hansen was an addition to the cast that probably wasn't as good as previous. I thought he was good. I didn't think he was anywhere near as good as Philip Quast. And let's talk about Peter Forbes' Buddy. Absolutely super performance who you felt for, even though he is the bad guy. My problem with Follies, and it's not a problem that I think we should just accept, because I'm definitely going to give Follies and Company both 5-star reviews, is there is nobody to root for in Follies. They're all flawed, and I think that's the bravery of Stephen Sondheim's writing, and also but being prepared for us to spend the evening with characters that we may not necessarily like by the end of it. However, whether or not we like them or loathe them, they were honest. You will not find a better acted production. It is also the choreography by Bill Deemer, who you may know for, particularly recently, Top Hat. There's Razzle Dazzle in the show as well, and actually for 2 hours 15 minute show, it doesn't actually feel that long. So yeah, that's Follies at the National Theatre. They have about a month or so left, so do go. There's tickets available. That's Follies at the National Theatre. So I must go to bed. As you can see, I'm all ready to go, and hair's a bit all over the place. It's been a bit of a day, but being caught up within Brexit marches and 2 of Stephen Sondheim's finest shows. Happy birthday, Stephen Sondheim. Go and see Company if you're around this week in the West End, and if you can get a chance to go and see Follies in the West End at the National Theatre, do go and see it. You will not find a better production in our theatre-goer generation. I can guarantee it, of those shows. Very sad to see Companies go. Hopefully we'll see more of Follies in the future. So before you hit the hay and before I bring the curtain down today, please do the usual. Please subscribe. I'm seeing subscribers come up. So many of you are coming up to me and saying hi when I'm out and about, which is absolutely wonderful. Thank you. And so thank you for subscribing. Also, please follow me on Twitter, and Twitter's Adam Amdram, and on Instagram and Facebook, Amdram Adam. And we look forward to seeing you on the aisles and on the pillow quite soon. Good night, everybody. Bye.